Hello, everyone. I'm Caleb Leger.
I'm Connor Eyzaguirre.
Welcome to a new episode of First Thoughts. All right, today we will be talking about the newest Screenbox film of the month, Followers. About just a quick rundown of the synopsis. About a group of influencers, social media personalities that run into uh someone that's been watching them while they're camping, run into him, kind of kick his ass, and 15 months later, I believe is when what the title card that pops up with. Um, Turns out dude bro has friends, and once the friends want revenge and they go after the trio that have now estranged but come back together for a weekend, with the reason being revealed kind of later in the film. So that's the quick plot. With that, let's kind of talk about how we felt about it. So right off the bat, this is, I know for you, Connor, your first official Screenbox screener, because we did Here for Blood, I believe last month, 2 months ago, I forget.
Yeah.
We did Here for Blood previously, so this would my second one, your first one. So I'll let you start with how you feel about this.
All right. So, if any of you have listened to our past content, you know that when it comes to horror, I tend to be a little harder to please than some of the other members of this team.
You're an asshole, yes, go on.
I I accept that. I'm aware of that. So since we got this Greenbox screener thing, I felt a little bit like if I don't like the movie, I'm gonna upset some people. But I've also had to, reconcile that with like, I'm not gonna lie my ass off and be like, oh, this is the greatest movie ever, woo. So I think the most honest thing I can do is just, be truthful, be fair about this. It's not great, but it has its moments. It does try, and it's more unintentionally amusing than I expected because these are some incompetent fucking villains, some dude bro incel fuckheads just trying to right the wrongs they think the world has put against them. Incel
Yeah.
culture is so twisted and sick anyway, and I
Yeah.
it's kind of ripe for a slasher villain. The incel, I'm surprised I don't see that more often.
Yeah, it is right. I hate insult culture with a passion. If you are a dude that fully believes, I mean, believes in the whole Chad, Giga Chad, fucking beta, all that stuff, like fully goes by it. I'm not saying, guys, there isn't like unspoken rules about that stuff and things. I'm not saying there isn't like a casual thing about that most guys follow anyway. But if you like that is like your life and that's why you think you don't get laid, go out into the world sometimes, please.
There's a big difference between incel culture and the guy code. Big difference.
Huge difference.
Yeah. For example, in the guy code, no one is quote unquote wrist mogging anybody, which is a scenario that incel culture believes where if you have a smaller than average wrist, you can't get laid because that's what women are paying attention to.
Yeah.
It's not your
And
shitty as hell personality, it's your small wrists.
yeah, and this is the other difference. Guy code, for example, right? You see a really attractive woman with a boyfriend, you go, of course, look at them, they're both attractive. It makes sense. You don't question why you didn't get her. You're like, huh, it makes sense. I have enough humbleness to go, yep, I get it.
It's
Incel culture, they go, well, wait, I deserve that. Why is it's because he's a Chad. It's because of his wrist.
it's
Like,
it's fucking
what?
crazy to see an attractive couple and immediately think, why didn't I get that? That belongs to me. Like fucking what? You nutcase. Oh my god.
Yeah.
These people are crazy, evil, shameless assholes, and I want them to be exploited more in horror films because I want to see attractive women beat the shit out of them.
Yes. There's a reason, guys, you incels out there. that you're not getting Sydney Sweeney is because you're not famous, and she is a very beautiful woman that probably has a very attractive fiance.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Also, if you subscribe to any of this, you're a piece of shit, and that's why women don't like you.
Yeah, it's incels, it's you. It's not me. It's you.
Yeah, it's you.
Yeah.
You should take some time to work on yourself.
Oh, but yeah, I'm surprised it's ripe. It's that culture is so ripe for like a takedown.
Yeah,
And granted, I'm sure in a way when a lot of films nowadays have been tackling toxic masculinity in films a lot, they are inadvertently talking about incel culture because I do think those go hand in hand big time.
yeah.
Um, Toxic masculinity in general isn't just exclusive to incel culture. Obviously, it is also patriarchy has a huge role with that. Um, but obviously it's definitely like something that goes with it. But yes, as far as like true blue incels, I'm surprised we haven't just gotten more films. I've been like, let's just attack these wackos. Um,
I think it's largely because outside of like, our generation and Redditors and whatnot, it's not a very well-known group of people, which is probably a good thing. Uh Most moviegoers aren't going to know what an incel is. I had to explain it to several family members when I was listening to that Time Suck episode about incel culture, and I was telling them like, "Oh yeah, that's what I'm listening to." They're like, "What's an incel?" And I had to then tell them about, well, this is what some men believe, and um, but I mean, the more it gets into mainstream culture, the more it deserves to be lampooned, and I think the best way to do that is to show them as wannabe wannabe Michaels, wannabe Jasons, which is pretty much what they are. They're like, they think they're so awesome, but then when the chips are down, they just take a sledgehammer to the gut and cry till they die.
yeah, absolutely. Like when the moment happens, or not, no, they're not even betas, guys. They're way below that. Um, like it, God, yeah. And I do think as time will go on, we'll start to see as we get older and it becomes more popular, we'll start seeing more films that tackle this. Um, with that, and we'll get into it when we get to the ending of this film. I do wonder. I couldn't find a lot of information because I was definitely looking up after this film ended. I do wonder about the filmmakers behind it, what their intent was, but I'm no one to question that for too much. I don't want to get into that nitty gritty, but I did start to have kind of some questions with that, with how this film ends. On that note that we're talking about. But again, I'm not going to subscribe to hearsay. I couldn't find anything because it's a very independent film, so I couldn't find anything online. Um, so unlike when I think I watched like the Scary at 61st Floor, that one I just did not like. And I did look it up and there's a picture of the filmmakers with Alex Jones and went, got it. Okay. Um,
Yeah.
that was a little different. I had evidence on that one. But yeah, with that, and so, Coach, the reason we're bringing this up is because these guys do fall, the villains of this film do kind of fall into that group. It's not specifically saying they're incels, but it is that toxic masculinity, that age old men are better, women need to know their place type of villains were in this movie.
Yeah, they have like a chant where they literally say like, "I will not fall into temptation of women," and I'm like, "Oh, you sound like a stand-up guy." Uh, yeah, these guys are definitely incel. I mean, they're a bunch of different weirdos subscribing to the same ideal who decide to unify after one of their quote unquote brothers is taken down in an attempt to kill three women. And they're like, oh, we got to unite. No, that's wrong. It's without saying it, it's an incel movie.
Yeah, it's 100% an incel movie, which is again why I had some questions for
Oh,
filmmakers when it
again,
ended.
real quick, if you don't know what an incel is, good for you. I'm glad you're living more calmer lives than us. Uh, It stands for involuntary celibate, and it's a person who believes that for whatever reason, they are incapable of having sex with women, and it is everybody's fault but theirs. So it's usually people who are, angry about the world, don't take any personal accountability for their problems, and just project all of their hate and anger and pain and rage onto largely attractive women they believe owe them sex.
Yeah, it's disgusting for being quite honest.
Yeah, they're terrible
Um,
people.
they're awful. Real quick before we dive more into the movie, I did want to point out because I read your review before we did this, and I thought, you know what, I gotta give Connor at least. I'll give you some credit, buddy. It sounds like this might help you stretch a little bit and hone in on what you like and don't like about these low budget horror films. Because I was like, after I watched it, I was even like, I'm surprised he didn't attack him. Well, I'm like, he was actually trying. I'm proud of him.
Yeah, I mean, whenever I'm watching a movie we're intending to do a podcast on, I don't want to just throw it away as this is gonna suck. I'm gonna just not focus or pay attention here. I try to hone in and find something, and admittedly, this does have an interesting story. It is engaging. Uh, I wish the sound design was a bit better. What the
It
fuck
was
was
very
going on there?
to me, it was very telling that this was a much more low budget like indie film with the
Yeah.
sound design because it reminded me of like back in the day when I used to watch Chiller. It was a TV channel,
Hmm.
and when the movie channel used to have like uh on Saturday nights, I believe they did like a horror double feature. They never really picked up like the big budget stuff. It was all like the lower budgeted stuff. And a lot of times their sound's just not that good because they don't have the money quite have the kind of means, even on their meager budget, to do sound the way they do. Unfortunately, not every, and this is no dig to low budget filmmakers, not everyone is like Damien Leone, you know what I mean? That can do a lot with what he did with the Terrifier films. And even if you watch Terrifier 1's sound and look and everything isn't as good as Terrifier 2, you know what I mean? But again, he had more money to play with, whole different story there. Um, so I kind of chalked that up to like, okay, it's a low budget. Yeah, that's what's going on with the sound. 'Cause I was with you, like I had to have my TV at a respectable because I have like a hookup so I can do my laptop
Hmm.
to the TV so I can watch the screen on my TV. Um, that yeah, I had to make sure the volume was just right so I could still hear what they're saying, but not have it destroy my speaker.
It wasn't for me like the volume of the dialogue. For me, it was there were random moments where there's like a loud blaring noise and the dialogue is still being talked and you can't hear that at all.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, just I thought that was a not a great idea, but
No, yeah, like I said, I chalked it up to like low budget, like sound design, editing, stuff like that. It's never perfect, unfortunately.
yeah. Um, but apart from that, I think I don't really think the characters are that three-dimensional. I think they're pretty one note for the most part.
You,
Uh, no.
you know what? This kind of digs into like why I kind of hinted at what I with the filmmakers. Um, I thought our lead trio, in the at least one of the guys. I don't want to reveal spoilers or anything here, but a twist that happens. Um,
Oh yeah, we can't spoil, can we?
yeah, we have to at least try to be careful about
I
that.
forgot about that. I'm glad I didn't realize that till just now. I'm glad I didn't say anything yet.
Yeah, yeah. I was like, oh, I didn't say anything. I was like, hopefully he won't say anything. I can finally sneak it in there. Um, but I thought when I was watching it that our trio, our women leads, they were trying. The dialogue at times wasn't really that great. I don't think the characters were in that great, and sometimes actors were kind of like okay at best for me. Um, but really enough, and again, this is why I tried doing like some research afterwards. I thought the bad guys were better. Like
Yeah.
performance wise, written wise, everything about them was better. And I'm like, interesting that they're better, but the trio I feel like wasn't written that strongly.
Well, admittedly, only one of them is worth the damn because in the first, situation, only one of them really does something. And then the blonde one turns that into her like survival story and that she tried to, she takes a lot of the responsibility for that. And I was like, oh, that's really shitty. Uh Painting yourself as the hero and all you did was hurt your leg and cry.
Yeah, I was like, she's the one that got her shit stuck in a bear trap, right?
Yeah. And she's like,
Yeah,
ah. And then later she's like a documentary about how I overcame this. And I'm like, no, your friend picked up a crossbow and took care of business.
yeah, your friend knew what to do.
Yeah. Uh That
and
first
knew what to do the second time.
yeah, pretty much. That first bit where she like finds what was her name? Riley tied up in the desert and like goes I think we can spoil the beginning of the movie. I think that's a problem.
That's
Um
fine.
and the bad guy turns around like, comes around and she just fucks him up. I was like I was laughing my ass off because I didn't expect that. Him to just be like, and just fall over with an arrow in him and I'm like, "Oh, well that was quick." Um and
Yeah, when I was like, this isn't the plot of the movie. I was like, because I was like, we're speeding through this part really quick. What's going on?
it made me think of like imagine a Friday the 13th movie where like Jason's coming, he's about to attack somebody, and that person just like hits him with a wine bottle, and he just goes down and is like, like just freaking out. Like all the mystique is gone. Nobody's afraid of him anymore. Like I would love if they did that.
Oh, that'd be great. Yeah, I do. When she just like, I'm thinking like, oh man, they're going to get they're doing like a Friday 13th 2009 thing, and this group is not who we're following for the rest of the movie. And then she fucks that dude up, and I was like, oh well, that was easy.
Yeah, way to wolf out there, guy.
I love when he was like pleading for his life right before she just brought that damn sledgehammer down.
Yeah, that was hilarious. Uh, and then later, the other guys are not they don't fare any better, really. They're turns out, talking about killing women and killing women, two very different activities.
Very different. And dude, I was dying when she like gets the iPad to call the police with, and the dude on the ladder, she like uses that to like stop the arrow and like runs. He's sure, no, 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 I'm sorry, and she just pushes that shit down.
It reminded me so much of the scene in the first Home Alone when Marv steps on the nail and falls backwards down the stairs, and it's just like screaming. That was that had Home Alone vibes for me. And then he's just like like lying in the yard, wind knocked out of him for a good chunk of the movie, just like
I was dying. I was like, okay, that was good. That was funny.
So now I'm picturing like Halloween, Michael Myers hunting, Laurie or somebody, and he trips and falls down the stairs. And he's just lying at the bottom of the stairs, his ankles like turned around, and he's just like, fuck. Oh God. Like the mystery's gone. He can talk now because it hurt a lot. He's just like, somebody. He's lying
Somebody,
at the
please.
bottom of the stairs, like,
It hurts so much.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
This was a terrible idea.
It's just funny to watch slasher villains fuck up and just be incompetent. We don't see that a lot.
We don't, and you know they have their moments.
Yeah, we see Ghostface do it all the time. In every Scream movie, somebody knocks the shit out of Ghostface. Like that happens every time. Because at
Oh,
the
all
end
the
of the
time. It's
day,
fun.
he's just a dude trying his best. He's not a zombie, he's not a demon, he's not immortal. He's just some dude with a axe to grind who always gets, somebody throws something at him, somebody knocks him out a window, somebody throws, shoots him. I kind of love
Yeah.
that.
Oh
Ghostface
yeah.
is like our human conduit.
Yes, even like in the most recent, potentially final Scream movie, Scream 6, uh where the big thing was like he's tougher, he's fiercer, he's meaner, and he was like he's a mean as fuck Ghostface in that one. But you even have that moment like right before you could actually really kill a girl, he gets shot the fuck up because they come in and interrupt, and he's just be like, oh shit, and leave.
I think Scream 3 had the most moments where Ghostface got the wind knocked out of him, and I laugh every time. It's just
Well,
like
that's
it reminds us that like, oh yeah, this is just a person.
yeah, and it's because the person that shoots sucks.
Yeah.
Scream 3 is my least favorite, so I don't really. And
I,
even
I
then, it's still a good movie. It's just my least favorite.
I do think the whole like, it was me behind everything trope. I don't like that trope.
I've never liked it, so I don't. It's usually it's why Scream 3 tends to be my least favorite.
Yeah. I don't know, I thought 4 was boring, so that's my least favorite.
Yeah, I like 4. Weird Instagram filter and all. I like Scream 4.
Cool.
You're just wrong about Scream 4 is all.
Hey, I didn't come
Okay.
after you for Scream 3. Maybe show me the same courtesy. My God.
No, I have a standard to maintain.
Ugh. Um, okay. So, what next?
I thought you were getting ready to say, I was like, I'll stay quiet. He's saying something. Okay. Um, yeah. Did the I forget the guy's name, but the blonde hair's boyfriend, who I'm not gonna lie, kind of thought was in on it for a bit there. I won't reveal if he is or not.
I want to say Gary.
Was it Gary? Um, I don't know why. I kept thinking of Trent in Friday 13, 2009 with him quite a bit.
He was like a slightly more tolerable Trent.
Yes, but because of that, he was kind of boring to me. Because the thing is about Trent in 2009 Friday 13th, he's so much of a douchebag that it's hysterical. That I die laughing at all of his scenes. 'Cause I'm like, the actor's so committed to that part of the movie that I'm
You know,
like,
you know that same characters in Transformers?
yes, I hate that whole theory. I
Yeah.
stupid.
Why is Earth not employing Jason Voorhees to take on the Decepticons?
Yeah, I know, right? Apparently he would win.
He
I
would.
hate that
He can't
theory so
die, but they
much.
can.
Yeah. I've always been like, that's the dumbest theory. I mean, cool, but I just like the character better in Friday 13 because it fits the movie and he's so committed, it's funny. But yeah, he seemed like a toned down version, which kind of made him kind of boring to me in this movie. So first I thought like, oh, this guy's gonna be a dude, bro. He's gonna be this because he has that same he's showing him the gun and stuff, but then he's like supportive and even he when it got to the big reveal at dinner on why she invited him there, you can tell on his face he's like, oh, you didn't? Oh yeah, this was okay. Now we're having a big argument about this.
Hey, he's super supportive until, he has to make a choice, and he makes that choice.
Yeah, then he has that one moment. Then I'm like, are you fucking serious?
Um, that whole the bit between the initial attack and the second attack is what hurts the movie the most, I think.
It did to me take a while to get going, and I was kind of bored doing that moment. I get it for character development. We need to establish that she is while she kicked ass, she is traumatized by this event. I understand that completely. It just wasn't the most dynamic to me. I wasn't very invested.
Yeah. Um, I did. Yeah, I thought the cheap Netflix thing was like Choose Flicks or something like that. Watch Flicks. I don't
Home
remember.
home flicks, home
Home
flicks.
Flicks. Home Flick. I thought that was funny. Uh,
Yeah.
and also, all right, here's a good philosophical question.
Oh God.
So you've been through something traumatic with several friends. You want to make a documentary about this and let's be honest here, exploit the incident that happened to you and your friends.
hmm
Is it worth it? Is it worth alienating the people around you who went through this so you can make a buck off of something horrific that happened to you?
I personally don't think so. Mainly because in a situation like that, I wouldn't want it to be so public. Like I wouldn't want to deal with people on social media and me being exposed like that and people's dumb because in all these cases people have some dumb out there fucking opinions. We see it all the time with just movie discourse when a big new movie comes out.
No.
I wouldn't want to deal with all that. Just selfishly would not want to deal with all that. Personally, I to me wouldn't be worth ruining a friendship uh for after going through something traumatic like that.
Well, number one, I hate that social media influencer is a thing. That's a job. That's a person. So I already don't like that. Two, this is Heather's fault. All of this is Heather's fault. She wanted to go camping. She took lead on that. She released the documentary. She let everyone know we will not be defeated by this. And all these assholes were like, yeah, you will. And showed up. Like, I blame her for these in every event in this movie.
Fair enough. We shall defeat you.
And it doesn't help that she reminded me very much of someone who once broke my heart.
Oh, I know who you're talking about.
And I was like, yeah, you remind me of her quite a bit, so I don't like you already. And then she just,
Bad lady.
her actions backed that up. So
Yeah, yeah. Um, yeah, they did. They really did. Um, yeah, I didn't really like her character all that much. I actually completely understood uh Riley's anger about her question at the dinner table. I was like, yeah, I'd be pretty fucking pissed too if I found, oh, this is the reason you want me over, not to fucking see me after so many years. This is why.
Yeah. And then, like, did Heather think that was going to go well? Like, they were going to be like, oh, of course you can monetize my trauma and
Why
turn it into
not?
a franchise. Why not? Sure. What the fuck? Like,
What are friends for, really?
yeah, what are friends we haven't spoken to in 15 months for? What a horrible person. My God. Uh,
Uh yeah, that God, yeah,
did you,
I did
did you notice the Candyman reference?
I did not. I did not. I missed that reference.
I don't know if I can say it because it's a bit of a spoiler for a certain character reveal,
Mm.
but
Tell me after
I
recording real
will. I'll
quick.
tell you. Just keep in mind, for those watching the movie, pay attention to a certain character's name and then their real name, and there's no way that was an accident.
Okay. No,
Yeah.
I did not catch that.
Mm.
Um I it's also very obvious before we kind of talk about the ending. One thing I want to talk about is the dude walking his dog and being that neighbor that apparently needs to maintain the appearance of the neighborhood because it's very established that this is clearly based off that house. This is an upscale fucking neighborhood they're in right now. Um, People with money live there, and his whole banging on the door with the you can't park here, everyone call the cops. There's a reason I kind of just am 50-50 on older people, and it's because of things like that. Like, look, one, okay, in this case, he was right because like the person driving the van, not a good guy. But look, guys, if you're walking your dog and you don't agree with someone being parked on the side of the road, one, give them the benefit of the doubt. They might just be having their car might be broken for Christ's sakes. And two, just walk on and mind your own business. There's no need to call the cops over a car parked on the side of the road.
I've never understood this certain need some people have to stick their nose in every situation that has nothing to do with them. I've never understood that. Like, why do you care? It's not impeding you. This isn't your fight. Go away.
Yeah. Go walk your dog. No one cares.
That's why I hate homeowners associations. Like, why is that even a thing? How can anybody tell me what my mailbox can look like? Like, fuck off.
Yeah. And of course, everyone's argument was like, well, they can be a good thing. So have you seen neighborhoods without one? I'm like, yes, I have. I've lived in neighborhoods without homeowner associations, and a lot of them still look nice because you don't need some asshole telling you what to do with the house that you bought.
Yeah. I don't give a shit what the neighborhood looks like. It's my house, my area is my responsibility, not nobody else's. I'm not gonna tell my neighbor like, "Hey, your hedges aren't up to code." Like, fuck off.
I'll,
That's not my job.
I'll trim your hedges, you asshole. Watch how well that goes. I ain't even talking about your hedges.
Yeah, it's a great way to foster enemies like immediately. I've never liked anybody who told me what to do when they have no authority over me. Those are the worst people.
Yes. So, and that's why, honestly, low-key, what happened to that character, I was happy. I was like, yes. It's like, fuck that old dude. I was like, God damn it. Guys, just you don't need to stick your nose in a situation that don't fucking bother you. It was fine.
Yeah, totally fine.
But
Yeah.
did you have anything else before we kind of talk about our feelings on this ending? This very divisive ending. Uh,
No, I the scene with the cops I thought was good, kind of predictable. Uh they didn't handle it very well. And also the bit where he's like, "Is that your name? Are you related to?" And the guy's like, "Yeah, that's my father." Like, I was hoping we were gonna get a little bit more from that.
that's what I thought, and it never gets brought up. Like it's doing. I'm like, you know what's funny? I remember thinking like, oh, good. So both the big budget horror film, imaginary is what I'm speaking about, and the low budget film are doing this thing where we bring up plot points that don't ever get brought up again. I'm like, what is with that? If it doesn't get brought up again, drop it from your script, guys.
Not good writing to leave plot threads dangling like that. You got to resolve these things. You got to nip those things in the bud, or else people walk away without a sense of closure, and that's not what you want from your movie.
Yeah, unless it's like, look, you're getting like a sequel. Like if you're making Friday 13th Part 6 at that point, you're going to get a Part 7. Okay, whatever. Probably get answered anyway.
Yeah.
Like, but yeah, that bugged me because I was like, wait, we're not going to the movie ended. I was like, we never went back to that. What was the point of that?
Yeah, I think it was just to show like, oh, the reason these guys are doing what they are doing and why they feel entitled to do it is because, this guy's got daddy's money written all over him.
Yeah, he comes from money.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, the cops handling the situation is pretty bad, and then like have terrible aim. I'll put it that way. Um,
And reaction time. I mean, my God, he had plenty of time to aim at them, and they were just like, "What? Bad guy with a gun? What? What is this?
what? He
I
he
don't know
took.
what to do." And also, one of the guys just had one bullet.
Yeah, I was like, I have a buddy I've known for decades now. That's a cop. I can tell you right now. I know for a fact he does not just have one bullet in that gun.
No, they have a clip. They have,
Yeah,
they check that shit before they go to a potential lethal situation. Like, yeah, just
yeah, that
plot
yeah.
convenience.
Very big plot convenience. So I'm with you. That was a weird scene. I don't know how they didn't see him bring out the gun. I'm like, Katie's hiding it, but it's pretty obvious his hands hiding something. You're not going to tell him to like show you both his hands to make sure. Like it's fairly obvious what he's doing. Um, but yeah, okay. This ending, along with like I said, the performances from our villains again is why I'm trying to like I keep mentioning because I again when you watch it you kind of understand what I'm saying. Why I was trying to do some research on maybe where leanings lie from people who made the film. Um, because I'm gonna tell you right now, if anyone's watching it, it's going to be a divisive ending. It's a divisive as fuck ending. Some might like it, and I do question those who might like it. I did not. I was actually I'll put it like this. This film was a 3 for me when I was watching. I was like, okay, you know what? Like you said, the sound design's kind of wonky. It takes a while to get going. Performance is okay, but they're still trying. There's a lot of effort being put into this. I can be forgiving. There's a lot of effort getting put into this film. It's a low budget horror film. I'll be forgiving. Then this ending happened, and I at least dropped it like half a star. Um, I wasn't a fan of how they chose to end this. I feel like it kind of betrayed the point of the film, and yeah, I can't keep going on without kind of spoiling it. So I wasn't a fan of how this film decided to end.
I was surprised it went in that direction, considering everything building up to that was very much pointing in the opposite direction. Uh,
Yeah, it felt like portrayal of character arcs we had seen developed.
yeah.
W- where it's is allegiance is lying felt weird in that regard. It was just I just did not like it. And not like that ending.
You want certain characters to get theirs, especially when they're this despicable. And the way it went down is very questionable and I think is going to ruin the movie for a lot of people. I think people who were on board are like you are going to have a moment of like, well, that was fucking wrong. And it's going to lose points. So, yeah, I do think that was a bad idea. That was not, and the way it's done, I kept thinking, like, oh, there's going to be a little bit more. And one person's going to be, going to save the day. But, I guess life doesn't always work out like that.
Yeah, and I'm sure those people like it will make that very argument. Well, life isn't fair. You're right. This is a movie.
Yeah, movies are supposed to be fair. That's why we watch them.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, I'm not saying anything against like endings that go are unexpected or go for it or dark if they feel earned. If that feels like the earned ending to the film. Because on the opposite side of that, I don't like when a movie forces a happy ending. Like it forces it because it's like, no, we need to do something happy. I don't so the idea was on like I don't like a forced ending, and that's what this kind of felt like. Um I like an ending that fits the film at hand. So if it does need to be a darker ending, if it does need to be something that's going to gut punch you, then yeah, go for it. But if it's not necessary, then and the happy ending works, then go for the fucking better ending.
Just give us the ending that makes sense. The ending that the movie is logically building up to. That's what you got to do, regardless of whether it's happy or not. It's just it needs to make sense for everything we've seen before. And this had I guess to put it bluntly, this had Game of Thrones season 8 vibes. Where I was like, really? That's the decision you're gonna make? What a jip.
Yeah, yeah. I kind of felt the same way. As soon as I texted you, I was like, that's the ending I got. That's that's what I got. And I was like, God damn it. But yeah, so look, overall with this film, what I would say is be open. It is low budget. It is not a big mainstream release like we got this past weekend with Imaginary. Okay. Um, It is much more smaller scale. It's low budget. I do give a lot of points for trying and doing what they can. Like I said, I do have some grievances I kind of had where like, yes, I wasn't on board with the characters and like the slower pace at the beginning, but once we got to like the house invasion, I call it the home invasion segment, I started getting more on board. I thought for me the film was like really picking up, and I was like, okay, I like it what's happening here. Then we got the ending. I will say to warning to anyone, the ending is divisive. You will have feelings on it. I personally did not enjoy it, but if you like the ending, hey, that's your prerogative. I'm not judging you. It's you like what you like, right? Um, with that, before I forget and let you have your piece, it will be streaming on Screenbox exclusively March 12th. So as far as where to find it, and how to support low budget indie filmmaking, Screenbox, March 12th. You can check it out then.
Yeah, yeah, do that. Watch it for yourself, make your own decision. It's got its moments. There are dialogue moments that feel like it was written spontaneously by an AI, but I can't prove that. Um, Next week, in terms of major releases, we have the American Society of Magical Negroes, which could be good, could be bad. I already regret saying that, but what am I going to do? Bleep myself? It could be worse. Uh, and Love Lies Bleeding, uh, road thriller, which looks promising. I don't know if we're going to talk about either of these films on first thoughts, but I will certainly try and see them.
I will try to see Love Lies Bleeding. The big thing with me is that unfortunately, and this is not no harsh judgment on the state I live in. We don't always get where I'm at. I don't always get these smaller films, so I have to constantly check to see if any theaters around me pick it up. I would like to see Love Lies Bleeding at least. It looks pretty good to me.
Yeah, I think it looks promising. The following week, which we'll talk about, well, actually, if we don't end up doing anything that week, I should probably preview now. We will absolutely be doing Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. Uh, can't say we will for sure be doing Roadhouse, Immaculate, or Late Night with the Devil. We will certainly watch them, but we'll have to see if time allows. But expect a
Uh,
Ghostbusters episode in 2 weeks.
yeah, time and once again, on at least on my end, the availability of the film playing. Again, I'm having issues with finding showings for Late Night with the Devil. It is hitting Shutter the following month, so I might get. I'll if not theaters, I'll get lucky when it hits Shutter. But
Yeah, it looks exciting and unique and cool. Very as a Texas Chainsaw vibe. I really like to. But yeah, that's what we got coming in the near future for immediate releases.
yeah, and then hey, with that, like I said, like I said on with regardless what you think of this film, keep supporting indie low budget filmmaking. There is good stuff there. It's just like watching your mainstream stuff. You got good, bad, everything in between, right? Um, so support it. Films are not just what gets pumped out into theaters. There are, these low budget guys keeping it strong, trying to get their own name out there. So give them that chance. Check this film out. Again, March 12th, exclusively on Screenbox. Thank you for listening to this week's First Thoughts. Keep watching movies.